And so we're going to have our weights nearby and we'll get started and we'll begin lying down. So go ahead and make your way to a lying down position. And as you lie down, begin with your feet on the floor. Oh wait, I forgot to mute everybody. I'm gonna mute you. Yeah, I'm out of my groove here because I've been gone for a while. That way, if I mute you, you'll just see me, probably. Okay. All right, so we're starting lying down. I'm going to mute again. Okay, now I can't mute you, but could you, here, I'm going to mute you. There we go. All right, welcome now. All right, so you're lying down with your feet on the floor, just taking some time to drop into awareness. So what do you notice as you're lying down? You might have your eyes open, you might have your eyes closed. But what do you notice when you lie down? Can you smell anything? What do you feel? Feel and recognize any sensation. The sensation of the air, the ground, the feeling in your body. Noticing the areas of the body that might feel really nice and relaxed. Probably noticing any area of the body that's giving you any challenge, difficulty. And when we lie back, we tend to relax, but is there any area of the body that is still kind of clenching or gripping? Can you relax that area? Let it soften? If you haven't relaxed the roof of your mouth yet, go ahead and do so. And if you haven't really noticed the sensation of your breathing yet, tap into that now. The feeling of your breath as it moves into your body, the feeling of your breath as it releases and empties out. So feel your breath. And allow your exhale to really empty and release. All right. So as we prepare for our movement practice, just take a few moments and really recognize how you're feeling this morning and what you might be needing. Like, how do you want to practice? How do you want to treat yourself? This hour is just for you. This is a chance to take care of ourselves and offer ourselves what we're needing. So what do you need? What would you like to offer yourself? Kindness, compassion, patience, acceptance, or maybe something else. But hold that in your awareness as you practice this morning. And then with your next breath in, you can open your eyes. So as we're lying back with our feet on the floor, we're in a neutral spine position. So we're going to kind of play around with that. So from this neutral spine position, some of us might have a little curve in the low back. Some of us may have more or less of a little curve in the neutral position, but our sacrum is on the floor. So now I want you to slide your tailbone toward your heels to kind of flatten your back into the floor so that your hip bones kind of tip more up a little bit. And then release back so your spine is in a more neutral position. And then begin to tip your hip bones forward so that you tip your pelvis forward so you create more of a little arch under your low back. And then release back to your neutral position. So do that again. Slide your tailbone toward your heels and feel your low back kind of flatten into the floor. You kind of lift your tailbone up a little bit and then release back to neutral. And then the opposite. Start to tip your hip bones forward so you create more of a curve in your low back and then release back to neutral. All right, so now we're going to start some incremental movement in the spine. We're going to start with that lengthening the tailbone toward the heel and flattening the low back. You start to curl your tailbone up a little bit. And then above your tailbone is your sacrum. So can you just lift your sacrum off the floor? So your back is still down, but you just tipped your tailbone and your sacrum up. And then release back to neutral. And then we're going to pelvic tilt. So we're going to tilt the pelvis forward and arch a little bit. And then release back to neutral. All right, so now we're going to slide the tailbone toward the heels. We're going to lift the tailbone. We're going to lift the sacrum. And then can you just lift the next vertebra? There's 5 lumbar vertebrae. And so we're lifting L5. And then we're going to release back to neutral. And then we're going to tip the hips forward. And then we're going to go back to neutral. We're going to slide the tailbone toward the heels, lift the tailbone, lift the sacrum, and then lift the next 2 lumbar vertebrae. And then release back to neutral, and then tip the pelvis forward. So you're just kind of really getting in touch with the movement of your pelvis. Come to neutral pelvis, slide your tailbone, lift your sacrum, lift the next 3 vertebrae. So the ribs are still down. We're just lifting the low back, and then we're going to come back and neutral, and then pelvic tilt forward, and then release back to neutral. And then this time you're going to come up. You're coming up closer to where the ribs begin, but you're not quite there yet. And then lower back down, and then pelvic tilt forward, and then release back to neutral. And this time lift up right to where your ribs begin, to where your thoracic vertebrae begin. And then lower back down. Let's just come back to neutral. We're not going to do the forward tilt. And then we're going to lift up again. And this time you go to where your ribs are, and then you can lift up a little higher. So your lower thoracic vertebrae, T12, T11, T10 maybe, and then lower back down, back to neutral. And then lift up just a little bit higher. So each time you're trying to articulate the spine a little bit more. On the way up, and releasing slowly, gradually, incrementally as you lower back down, back to neutral, and come up a little bit higher this time. You're just kind of getting in touch with the feeling of the vertebrae in your spine, getting them a little more mobilized. Kind of moving at your own pace here. Each time you come up, maybe lifting up a little bit higher. And we're going to go up and down just one more time. So we'll go up and back down. So you're coming up a little higher on the ribs that attach to the spine. And then the next time you come up to your height of your normal bridge. So lift up nice and high. So your weight is pretty high up on your thoracic spine. Your weight is kind of up on the back of your shoulders. Your hips are up in the air. And think about sending your knees, your shins forward. And as your knees and shins go forward, press your feet down. And what's holding you up here is your hamstrings and glutes. So maybe as we hold up here, you notice that feeling of the hamstrings and glutes really waking up, really doing the work of holding you up in this bridge. Feel that engagement in the back of the upper thighs and into the muscles of the seat, the glutes. Squeezing, engaging to hold you up here now. So take a breath up here. And then with your exhale, slowly, gradually release incrementally down out of your bridge. Feeling each vertebra as it connects and drops one by one down into your mat, into the floor, until you feel your sacrum land. Your tailbone kind of rolls out. Tailbone relaxing. Great. All right. So now bring your feet together. Bring your feet and your thighs together so they're all touching. But then separate them just a couple of inches. So they're not all the way together. There's a couple inches between your feet and your legs. And then begin to open your knees out to the side. So you're rolling to the sides of your feet. You're opening out into a straddle. And then bring your legs partway up. Maybe halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way, but not all the way up. And then let the knees drop open again. And then bring them partway up. We're going to do this with a slow movement. Not all the way together, and then open them back out. And then draw them back partially, halfway, 3/4 of the way up, and then open them out. Maybe only go halfway up. So there's a little bit of work engaging the inner thighs to bring the legs up, and then a little controlled opening of the knees out. And again, so we're just starting to wake up the muscles, the adductors, the inner thigh muscles. And as you open out, you might feel a little work in the hips here. So drawing the knees partway up, and then opening them back out, and drawing the knees partway up, and then opening them back out. So just waking up the legs in different ways here this morning. Knees drop open, knees come partway in, knees drop open. Can you feel the work in the inner thighs? Maybe you feel a little engagement in the muscles of the pelvic floor as well. So we'll just do a few more of these. Drawing the knees up halfway and then letting them open. Let's do this 2 more times. Knees come partway up and then they drop open. Last one like this. Knees drawing partway up and then dropping open. And this time we'll bring the knees all the way up and come back onto your feet. And then again, bring your legs a little closer together. Maybe they're all the way together, maybe they're a little bit separated. And then press up into a bridge. So it's going to feel different than the bridge that we were in when we had our feet hip distance apart. You may notice the inner thighs, the inner glutes working more to hold you up here. Just notice that different sense of engagement. Take a breath at the top. And then release and lower yourself back down. Great. All right, separate your feet to your natural hip distance. Lift your head up and start with your hands clasped behind your head. We'll wake up the core now a little bit. So with the weight of your head in your hands, your neck relaxed, your elbows pretty wide. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to knit your ribs. Pull your upper rib or your lower ribs down into your belly to lift up the head, neck, and shoulders. So you can get your shoulder blades off the floor, look beyond your knees, and then inhale and release back. Again, on your exhale, begin to knit your ribs down into your belly, lift the head, neck, and shoulders, and then take your hands, reach them up toward the ceiling. Bring your palms together, reach up like you're reaching, praying to reach the ceiling. And then as you start to release back, your hands can support your head as your head goes back, and breathe. Again, knit the ribs as you exhale. Come on up, reach your arms up, palms together, reach to the ceiling, knitting the ribs a little bit more, and then release back, hands support the head back down. Breathe. Exhale, knit the ribs, lift up, hands come together, reach up. Now you might go support your head on the way down, or maybe just keep your arms up. We're going to lower back down, breathe in. Exhale, knit the ribs, reach up. Inhale, release back. Exhale, knit the ribs, reach up and a little bit forward. Inhale and reach, lower back. Exhale and lift up, reach. Really trying to activate the upper abdominals here. A few more like that. Exhale, knit the ribs, reach up. Inhale, release back. Exhale, knit and lift, reach. Inhale back. Maybe two more like this. Knitting the ribs, activating those upper abdominals, and then lower it back down. Last one here. Knit the ribs, reach up, and then as you lower back down this time, you can bring your arms down at your side. All right, so we have our feet on the floor. First, I want you to lift your heels off the floor, then lift your feet off the floor. They're close to the floor. Feel the belly engage here to support the legs. Then bring the knees up, then lift your legs up. Now we're going to curl the hips up, reverse curl, lift the hips, roll out of that curl, bend the knees. From here, we're going to extend the legs on an angle forward, trying to keep your spine neutral. Don't let the back arch here. Then bring the knees back in, lower your feet down with control. Balls of the feet come down, and then heels come down. We're going to do that whole progression a number of times. So we're going to lift the heels, then lift the feet, then bring the knees up over the hips, lift the legs up in the air, reverse curl the hips, release out of that, bend your knees, and then extend your legs out on an angle. You decide what the angle is of your legs. Bring your knees back in, and then lower the feet down, balls of the feet, and then the heels. Relax, take a breath. A few more of those. Lift the heels, lift the feet, bring the knees up, lift the legs up, curl the hips up, release the hips, bend your knees, and then extend your legs out on an angle that feels appropriate for your low back. You can support this without your back arching up off the floor. Bend your knees, release the balls of your feet down, and then your heels, take a breath. Again, lift your heels, lift your feet, bring your knees up, lift your legs up, curl the hips up, release the hips, bend your knees, extend your legs out on an angle, bring the knees back, lower to the balls of your feet, and then your heels. One more like that. Heels come up, feet come up, knees come up. Lift your legs, lift your hips, release your hips, bend your knees, extend your legs out on an angle, draw the knees back, lower onto the balls of your feet, release your heels. Nice work. Okay, let's roll to the side, facing your device. And we're going to bend the knees on a right angle. And we'll let our head either rest on our arm, or you could slide a pillow or a blanket under there if you prefer. Place your other hand on your hip. And when we lay on our side like this, our waist drops down, right? So if we were to press the hip away, can we kind of engage this bottom side waist? So there's a little lift or a little engagement in your bottom side waist. So you're not just collapsed into the floor, you have a little bit of lift in your waist. So your hips are more stacked. So with that little bit of engagement down in your bottom side waist, lift your top leg up so it's at the height of your hip. and then press your heel forward. So you're holding that leg forward, pressing out through the heel, trying to keep this bottom side waist lifted here. Now take that leg on an angle, kind of halfway between forward and straight. And then take the leg straight out so it aligns with your body. You still have your foot flexed, strong engaged leg. Then take the leg behind. Start to work the back of the leg a little bit. Point your toe, maybe go a little further back, keeping it at that height, keeping the bottom side waist lifted. Bend your knee back there, and then bring that knee forward again. All right, bottom side waist is still lifted. Press the heel forward. Now lower the foot down. Let the toe touch and bring it back up. Do that again. Lower the foot down, toe touches, bring the leg back up. A couple more like that. Let your toe touch, bring the leg back up. Let the toe touch, bring the leg back up. Now take that leg out on an angle. And same thing. Lower it down, let the toe touch, and bring it back up. How's your bottom side waist? Lower it down and bring it back up. Two more. Lower it down and bring it back up. And lower it down and bring it back up. Take that leg straight, lined up with your body. Same thing, lower it down and lift it back up. Lower it down, keep that bottom side waist lifted. Two more, lower it down and lift it back up. Lower it down, lift it back up. Take the leg behind, you can point the toe, lower it down and lift it back up. Lower it down and lift it back up. Lower it down, lift it back up. Last one, lower it down, lift it back up. Bend the knee back there, bring the knee forward, and relax it on the bottom leg. Good work. Push yourself up, swing your legs the other direction. So you come to lie on the other side with your head supported. Bring your knees on a right angle. And then this bottom side waist, you can think about pushing this top hip away to help lift the bottom side waist, or you can just consciously think about pulling up, lifting up here. So the spine is more aligned, the hips are more stacked, and there's a little bit of engagement in your side waist. And then we're gonna lift that top leg up to the height of the hip and press out through the heel, keeping that bottom side waist engaged. Really strong leg as the heel extends forward, the foot is flexed. Then take that leg on an angle, halfway between forward and straight. And then take that leg straight out in line with your body. Great. And then take it behind you. Try not to arch your back, keep your spine neutral. And then point the toe, maybe go a little further back. And then bend the knee back there. And then bring that bent knee forward. Keeping that bottom side waist engaged, press out through the heel, forward. This time lower down and touch, and lift back up. Lower down and touch, and lift back up. Couple more. Lower down and touch, lift back up. How's the bottom side waist? Lower down and touch, and lift back up. Take that leg on an angle. Lower down and touch, and lift back up. Lower down and touch, and lift back up. Two more. Lower down and touch and lift back up. And again, touch and lift. Now take that leg out straight. Bottom side waist is lifted. We're going to lower down and touch and lift back up. Lower down and touch and lift back up. Lower down and touch and lift back up. Last one. We're going to touch and lift. And then that leg is going to swing behind. You can point the toe. You're still lifting your bottom side waist. Touch the toe and lift. Touch the toe and lift. Touch the toe and lift. Last one. Touch the toe and lift. Nice. Bend the knee back there. Bring that bent knee forward. Release it on your bottom leg. And you can relax your side waist. All right, we're going to come around to all fours. Knees beneath hips, wrists beneath shoulders. Spread out your hands. Press your palms into the floor. Feel that support across the shoulder girdle. Create a little engagement in the abdominals to support the spine. Feel your spine nice and long, gazing down between your hands, back of the neck long. So right now, your weight is really centered over your hands, over your legs. Can we keep the weight centered in this way without shifting the body side to side? And we're gonna, at the same time, try to lift one arm and the opposite leg, and we're gonna reach them out forward. So can we do this maintaining stability through the trunk? And then we'll bring that hand and knee and place them back down. So there's really very limited movement in the torso. Can we lift the other arm and the other leg and reach them out with very limited movement in the body? Just movement in the arm and leg. Release that hand and knee back down. Very little movement. Again, other side. Lift the leg, lift the arm, reach them out, and we're just maintaining a bunch of stability in the body. And then the hand and knee, releasing back. Very little shift in the position of the body. Other arm, other leg, extending out. How much stability, stillness can you have in the position of the trunk as the hand and the leg come back down, and then as the other arm and leg go? So sometimes we really shift things around, but right now we're really focusing on keeping everything steady as we reach out long, and then with, gentleness, we release things back down. It's like we're trying not to wake the body up. We're being really quiet and cautious here. Trying to make as little movement, as little sound as we can. All right, we're going to do that one more time on each side. So maybe you feel how the core really engages here to support this movement, to keep everything steady. And this next time will be our last time extending an arm, extending a leg, reaching out long, and then coming back. Nice job. Okay, let's sit back into child's pose. Sit back on your heels, let your spine round forward, let your head be supported in some way. Take a moment here to connect with your breath, connect with what you're offering yourself this morning. This practice is such a great opportunity to think about being kind to ourselves. We'll really take care of ourselves now, and then we can be kind to those we interact with when we leave here this morning. So with your next inhale, lift your head up, reach your arms way out in front, really plant your palms, come onto your knees. Let's come up to our first downward facing dog. Hands push down as the hips lift up, and just let the weight of your head hang. We carry so much tension in our neck and shoulders, and just letting the weight of the head hang can really release a lot of that tension. So your head is hanging, you might let it kind of shake side to side, but feel the weight of your head just kind of hanging off of the spine, kind of like traction here. So once the head has released, as you press your hands down, maybe with a little softness in your knees, can you draw the hips way up and back, creating length through your armpits, through your spine, as you breathe in and out here. Great. Now let's lower to straight arm plank. So position your arms so that you can feel the line of your ankles to your shoulders, and then see if you can drop your hips into that alignment. So hips, ankles, shoulders are one long line, and then can you bring your neck in line with that line? So we're holding the weight of the body here, which is asking a lot. This is a lot of weight to hold up. So if we need to, we're going to drop down onto knees and feel that line from knees to ears. Can you press back through your heels and lengthen through your crown any more here? As you connect with your breath, push your hands down, spread the weight out into fingers, knuckles, thumbs. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, pull back and up to downward facing dog. Let your head hang. Soften the knees a bit. Draw the hips up and back. Take a breath. As you exhale, again, lower to your straight arm plank. Nice and long and strong here. Maybe knees are up. Maybe knees are down. Can you feel that alignment? Ankles, hips, shoulders, ears. Take a breath here. And then let's drop the knees down behind and lower the chest into the mat. Keep your hands where they are, because we're going to push back up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees. Pull the hips up and back to down dog. Take a breath here. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale to knees. Lower the chest down. Keep your hands where they are. Push back up. Lift the knees. Hips go up and back. Take a breath. Again, exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. You can lower to knees and then lower down, or just lower down. We're going to go up one more time. Push back up to knees. Lift the knees. Lift the hips. Take a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take another breath. Exhale, lower to knees or not. Lower yourself down. Good job. Coming to the tops of the feet now. Maybe let's release the wrists a little bit. Bring your arms alongside your body. So the back of your hands are on the floor. Your chest is sinking close to the floor. Your head is rotated in, the crown of the head extending forward like a turtle pulling his head out of his shell as your toes reach back. Let's press the front of the hips down and lift the legs up. Really feel the back of the legs working to lift the legs up. And then reach back through your fingertips, pull your heart forward and lift up to locust pose. So it's like one long continuous line from your toes to like the back of your skull. Lengthening and then lifting. Press down with the front of the pelvis to lift the legs. Let the lifting of the legs help to lift the chest. Pull the heart forward. Take a breath. Exhale and lower down. Nice job. Let's bring our forearms on the floor now. Forearms right beneath the elbows. And then we're going to slice down. So you could sink down. That's maybe our natural position. But then push down and come out of that sink. So you're lifting the chest up. You feel the pressure of the arms pressing into the floor. Let's curl the toes under and lift the hips up. We'll start on the knees in our kneeling forearm plank. We could stay here. We could lift one knee at a time and work there. Or we could lift both knees off the floor. We could hold both knees up, or we could alternate one knee down at a time. So find the level that works for you, and we'll stay here for a little while. Be sure that you're breathing and not holding your breath. And if you're in the full position here with your knees lifted, you could just kind of rotate the hips a little to one side. It's a small movement. You want a little more sideways engagement. Because just holding the solid position can be, it's a little more easy to distract yourself with some movement. So let's take a few more breaths here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll come down to knees, to hips. We'll take the elbows wide and we'll let the head rest on the hands. Relaxing the upper body, relaxing the head and neck and shoulders. You let your low back relax as well. You can maybe move your hips a little side to side and breathe. All right, we're gonna hover the head. Take your arms out, kind of like a V, a little wider than your shoulders. And then just look down at the floor. Similar to what we did before, we're gonna press the front of the hips down and lift the legs up. And this time as we lift the chest, we're gonna lift the arms. So it's a little harder because our arms are a longer lever to hold up. So can we lift up here? You can turn your thumbs to the ceiling, take a breath, and then lower back down. So if it's too much with the arms, you could have your arms like we did earlier at your side. Otherwise, same thing, lift the legs, lift the arms. Take a breath, and then lower back down. A few more. Inhale, lift the legs, lift the arms. Exhale, lower. Again, lift the legs, lift the chest as well as the arms. Not just your arms come up, your chest comes up as well. And then lower back down. 2 more. Inhale, lift up, reach up, Superman. Exhale down. Last one. Reach up, reach out, lengthen, lift, and release. Good work. Hands come next to chest. Let's push back to knees. Let's take child's pose. Sit all the way back on your heels. Round over your legs. Arms can be out in front, alongside your body, or supporting your head. Connect. That's what's important to you here. Awareness, compassion, love, kindness. Breathe it in. And let your out breath just be a releasing and letting go. One more round of breath here. And then we'll lift the head up. Reach your arms out again. We'll make our way to downward facing dog. Breathing in and out here. And then just walk your hands back towards your feet. Letting your heels come down. Ending up folded over, bent knees. Arms and head heavy. Take a big breath into your upper back. As you exhale, start to extend your spine. Your fingertips could be on the floor or hands on the shins like a turtle sending its head out of its shell. And you extend through your upper back. Again, inhale as you fold over into your upper back. Exhale to extend the heart forward. One more time. Inhale as you fold over. We're going to exhale here. And then let's draw the belly in and begin to roll ourselves up. Just like we did when we incrementally rolled out of our bridge. And you kind of feel one vertebra stacking on top of the one beneath it. As you slowly, gradually, incrementally make your way up to standing. All right, once you're up, press your feet down, feel your ribs knitting in a little bit, and then let your sternum lift up. Feel the back of the head lift up. So you're in a nice, elegant, upright posture. And then reach your arms out, broaden across your shoulders, shoulder blades out to your fingertips. Reach your arms up, and let's lift the heart. Lift the head, the chin a little bit. See if you can almost scrape the ceiling with your fingers. Take a breath. And then exhale, lowering your arms back down. All right, let's pick up some weights. You can, if you have heavier and lighter weights, you might take your heavier weights. You can always change as we go. So let's start in a squat position. So feet slightly turned out, heels about the width of your hips, maybe a little wider, maybe a little narrower. And we're going to start coming into that squat. So we're bending the knees forward, bending the ankles, taking the hips back, arms coming down at our sides. Now from here, can you press your arms back? So we're going to go back with the arms, and they're going to come to the height of your hips or maybe a little higher. And then we're going to lower the arms down. As we straighten the legs, we're gonna bicep curl. And then we're gonna reach the arms up. And as we do that, I want you to lift your heels. And then heels come down, arms come down. We're gonna squat. And then we're gonna take the arms down and we're gonna press them back. Lift them up high. Then lower the arms down. As you straighten, bicep curl. And then raise up your heels, press up. Again, drop your heels, arms come down, sit into your squat, take the arms down and back, lift. Lower your arms down, straighten and curl. Lift your heels up, press up. Come back down, sit back into your squat, arms lower, arms press back. Keep your arms here, keep your elbows here, triceps. So pull in and extend back. Pull in and extend back. Pull in. So your elbows don't move. From your shoulder to your elbow stays the same. Your lower arm is bending in and pressing back. A few more like this. Bend in and press back. And as you extend back, feel your triceps engage. 2 more. Bend in and press back. Bend in and press back. Good work. Drop your arms as you straighten, bicep curl, and then lift your heels, press up, and then come back down. Great. All right. Maintaining that position, we're just going to do the heel raise, and we're going to do lateral raises, and then lower down. So heel raise and lower down. Actually, change your feet so they face forward rather than turned out, since we're not squatting. We're going to lift the heels and lower down. Lift the heels, lift the arms, lower down. So working the deltoids here, muscles in the tops of the shoulders. Lift and lower. Lift. Working the legs, working the ankles, working the calves, working the muscles in the feet. Let's do 2 more. Lift and lower, and lift and lower. Good work. All right, you might want to switch to your lighter weights. And we're going to come into a wide stance. Let's turn the right foot in and turn the left foot out. And go ahead and bend this knee, bend that front knee. As you bend the knee, find the position that works for you. This outer foot is pressed down. You feel grounded through both feet. Your knee is bent, your hips are sinking down. Great. All right, bring your elbows by your waist and have your palms up, your fists up. So as we straighten the leg, we're gonna lift out to a big V, and then we're gonna bend the knee and come into like a W. So we're gonna lift up and we're gonna pull in. And we're gonna lift up and out, and we're gonna pull in. Lift up and out, and pull in. I guess we could have had our heavier weights for this because we're pretty strong in the bicep muscles. So since we picked the lighter weights, we might have to do more repetitions in order to feel this. So a couple more. Out, and in, and out, and in. Good. All right, from here, we're going to tip the hips over, and we're going to try to move from the hips, not from the head. So can you feel your hips tipping over as this arm comes onto this bottom leg? This other arm, we're going to drop it down. So chest to the floor, and then we're going to rotate the chest, lift the elbow, and then we're going to press that arm up. We're going to bring that arm down, rotate the chest down, arm goes down. Rotate the chest, lift the elbow, reach up, breathe in, come on down, rotate down. A few more like that. Rotate and press up, and bend and come down. Rotate and press up, bend and down. Let's do 2 more. Rotate and press up, bend and down, and last one. As we're here, pressing up, Let's push into the front foot to rise up. You reach this arm up and then bring it down. All right, other side. Rotate the feet forward and then rotate the back foot around. Bend this front knee and get solid in both feet. Find your distance, find your level that you're dropping into this. Elbows come into the waist. As we straighten the front leg, we're gonna lift up and out and then pull in. I'm gonna try heavier weights. You might wanna switch too, or you might not. So we're gonna press out and up and pull in. 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 A few more like this. Lifting up and out and hugging in. Up and out and hugging in. Up and out. And then let's do 2 more. Up and out and hug in. Last one. Great. All right. So we're going to tip the hips over, bring the forearm on the front thigh. I'm going to go back to the same weight that I had on the other side. We're going to lower down, chest to the floor. That top arm drops toward the floor. We're going to rotate belly and chest to the device, bring the elbow up, and then press up with that arm. And then in reverse. Drop down, rotate the belly and chest, lift the elbow, and then press up, and then reverse. Chest to the floor, rotate chest to your computer, and then lower down. A few more like this. Rotate and press up, and reverse. Rotate, press up, and reverse. Let's do 2 more. Rotate and press up and reverse. This time as we rotate and press up, let's just push the front foot down to straighten the front leg to reach up with a breath and then bring it down. All right, turn your feet forward and then just walk your feet in. All right, keep one weight. You might want your lighter weight, just one lighter weight. We're going to do one last piece of work for balance and hip strength. We do this a lot. It's one of my favorites because it does a nice job of building strength and help working on our balance. So we have a weight in one hand. So whatever weight, whatever arm that is, that's the foot we're going to balance on. We're going to bend the other knee, bringing the heel back. So just working here, working on balance is a good place to be. Now we're going to hinge forward from the hip. This standing leg, you could put a little bend in the knee, that's fine. Can you reach down with the bell of your weight and touch the floor? And then bring yourself back up. Good. Change sides. The weight is in the other hand. The weight goes on the other foot. We bend the other knee. Working here just for balance. And then hinging forward. Your standing knee could bend a little bit, but we're trying not to bend at the waist really. And we're going to touch the bell of the weight. And then can we bring ourselves back up? It's challenging. All right, so now keep the weight in that same hand, switch to your other leg, bend the knee. As you hinge forward, again, the standing knee could bend a little bit. Take the weight in your hand and reach it somewhere out to the side or out to the front. Just make it a little more challenging. And then come back up. Now coming back up works the standing leg in ways that are gonna help strengthen the hip, strengthen the knees. Okay, so now one leg, weight is in the opposite arm, bend that knee, and then reach it out to the side or out in front. So it's a little challenging, it's not straight down. And then can you make your way back up? Good job. We're gonna do it one more time. Opposite leg, opposite weight. So if you reached it forward, now reach it out to the side or do something different. Reach in a different spot with that weight than you reached before. And then try to make your way back up. And last time, other side, weight in one hand, other leg, bend the knee, and take that weight and reach it out in some other angle. It's a little bit challenging. And then bring yourself back up. Good work. Nice job. Okay, we're done with the weights. We're going to come down onto our mats. And we're going to turn, so we're along the line of the mat. So we're going to try rolling like a ball. And so if you're on if your mat is on a hard floor, you might want to double up your mat or put like a blanket under or something, because this can be a little tricky. But if we were to come like this and balance here, we'd be right on the tailbone. So what I want you to do is kind of tuck under a little bit. So your weight is going to be just behind your tailbone. So that if you grab onto your legs, you're going to round. So the weight isn't really on your tailbone, it's right behind your tailbone. And then lift your heels up, so you just have your toes down, and then try and lift your feet up. So you're holding here with your arms, but you're tucking your chin and you're rounding your back. You're just kind of trying to balance, which will be quite a bit of work for your core. Your arms are working too. So just holding here is a little challenging. Then can you do kind of like a rocking chair movement? Can you rock a little bit back, really small, and then a little bit up? Rock a little bit back, and then a little bit up. I'm not great at this, so listen to what I say more than what I do. And then come back up, and then rock a little bit back, and then come back up. All right, so now we're going to try rocking all the way back, between the shoulder blades, and then rock back up. So keep tucked, roll back, and then roll back up. When you come up, your toes might touch, but try to see if you can do it without your toes touching. So stay rounded, roll back, and roll back up. And maybe one or two more times. Stay rounded, roll back up. Trying not to touch. One more time. We're going to roll back up. Good job. All right. Plant your feet, reach your arms forward, and just roll down. And then reach your arms overhead, extend your legs out. Take a big long stretch, fingers to toes, big breath in. And then just let your elbows bend, let your feet flop, let everything relax as you take a breath. Great. Slide your feet in. Bring your feet up off the floor. Reach your arms and hug your knees in. Maybe sway a little. And then let's finish with clamshell. So let your legs drop all the way over towards your device. Take your arms out in front of you. Bottom arm is straight out from your shoulder, top hand palm to palm. Then bring your knees up close to your elbows. Then take your top arm and reach it up, reach it back behind you, rolling your chest and your gaze to the ceiling. Try to keep your knees stacked. Your hand that's over there could hold them there if the top knee slides back. And then breathe in and out here. Breathe down into your belly, and then let the breath empty and release. Breath in through the nose if you can. Breath out can be nose or mouth. One more deep breath with a full release of breath. Nice emptying and letting go. Then that arm from behind can come back up and come back down on that bottom hand. And then we're going to roll to the other side. So we'll bring your knees up, roll all the way to the other side. That bottom arm is going to be out on the floor in front of you. That top hand is going to stack right on top. We're going to bring the knees close to the elbows, and then that top arm reaches up and back and behind, rolling the chest and gaze toward the ceiling, keeping the knees stacked. You can hold them with that other arm if you like. And then feel your breath moving in and down. Feel your breath releasing and emptying out. A few more rounds of breath here. Let the breath move your body. After your next full release of breath, that arm from behind can come back up and come back down. And we'll start to transition to our final relaxation. So taking a little time to get warm and comfortable. Maybe something under your head, maybe something under your knees. Set yourself up in a way that is supportive, that is kind. We're caring for ourselves this morning. So the beauty of this practice is that there are so many ways that we can care for ourselves. We care for ourselves just by paying attention, by noticing what we're experiencing. So just this opportunity to be in touch with our bodies is huge in terms of self-care. And then we work the bodies in ways that are very beneficial, building strength and mobility and flexibility. And now we take this time at the end of our practice to invite the body to experience relaxation. This very relaxed state. We allow it to unfold. We don't have to make it happen. We allow it to happen. We give our bodies permission to let go of holding on. To let go of all instruction, of all need to be any particular way. We allow the body to find its natural state where it feels relaxed, at ease, settled. Body relaxed. We let the facial muscles relax. And notice how the mind can come along and rest. Just letting yourself be as you are. So you're welcome to stay in this relaxed state for as long as you like. And if you're ready to come out, you can come out in your relaxation. It's your choice. Either way, it's nice to be back together, practicing together. And I wish you all a nice day. The rain. So, from my heart to yours, peace.
Have a good week.
You too. Thanks, Nancy.